Tell Me About It is brought to you by Don Franklin Auto of Glasgow, Extreme Health Club, and Lock Shield Partners Accounting Services.
Hey, this is James Brown. I'm here with Trevent Hayes. I'm 104thescore.com. He's kysports.tv and occasionally a high school football coach. We're here on Tell Me About It, Glasgow EPB Channel 6, local channel. You can catch this show every Thursday night at 6 p.m. and you can also see it online on the Glasgow YouTube channel, Glasgow EPB YouTube channel, 104thescore.com and kysports.tv. We talk about football on this show quite a bit, and we're going to do it again this week. And we're going to actually start off with his third job or first job, depending on what day of the week it is, probably, as the head football coach at Caverna High School. You guys won a historic game on Friday night, beat Russellville 54-44. It was really a wild game in the first half. Now in the second half, you guys took control of it, and I think maybe a couple of instances where this program, these players in this program aren't used to winning, and especially in high intensity games and high pressure games. And you got some guys out there who have not been playing before, who have come out as this season started, and you're relying on them. And so there were some breakdowns in the second half that allowed Russellville to stick around. Mm-hmm. But there was one play from two of your more experienced players that really sealed the fate of the game.
Yes.
You guys had turned the ball over, I think, on downs and given the ball back to Russellville. I think, were you up by 8 at that point? Was that what it was?
We were.
So, and then they threw a little, I guess it's kind of a pass in the flat. That's what they were trying to do a lot during the night. Mm-hmm. Just throw the ball in the flat and let their guys try to make plays against your guys. And reasonable expectation, they can't run the ball
right
at all, really. And so, from behind, LD Wagner runs the guy down, tracks him down, hits him, knocks the ball loose along your sideline. And then Jalen Crane scoops it up and returns it for the touchdown that pretty much put the game away. And going into that game, especially after the first half, I mean, what did you tell the players at halftime? Because you guys came out and took a 16-point lead pretty quickly in the second half.
It was 32-32 at halftime. And, I just told the kids that I knew that it was calling for rain all night, mm-hmm. and I knew that was going to be a disadvantage to Russellville because they weren't having any success running it, and I knew they were going to throw it. And I knew that, we'd been burnt on a few plays there, early mm-hmm. passing plays.
Yeah.
But I just stressed to them the importance of finishing the game. And again, we are in a position now on Friday. If we win Friday, then we're going to, win the district. Mm-hmm. And it's not happened for 37 years. And, I just really sold that to the kids. And, I've went back. Somebody said that Caverna beat Russellville in the 80s, but I couldn't find that. So, I just told them, there's a lot of things that can happen here. This would be the first time we've ever beat Russellville, at Russellville. And, I just told the big playmakers that, you guys are going to have to make plays. And LD Wagner, he didn't have a lot of tackles in the game on Friday, but he had a couple of pass deflections, and he actually made the hit to strip the kid mm-hmm. with the fumble, and Jalen, had a scoop and score. But I just really challenged him to finish. And like we've talked about all year, the biggest thing with my kids is teaching them how to win. Mm-hmm. We have the talent to win, but if you're not used to winning, it's hard to, stay focused and win a game.
Well, and it's one of those things where if you have a history of not winning, then what happens is the players are always thinking to themselves, when's the other shoe going to drop? When's it going to go sideways?
And, I just kept asking them, why not? Again, why not us? Why can't we, everybody, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of people, the majority of the people said that it would take me a couple of years to have a winning record. And, I told you and I told Tony, I really feel like we can compete for the district this year. Mm-hmm. And I did. I felt that. Our record's not, where I thought it would be. But we still have a chance to finish the season at 500. But I told the kids, if we're at 500 and we win the district, then it's all worth it. So.
Well, going back to mentioning whether or not Caverna beat Russellville in the 80s, I don't know, but I was talking to Dwayne Hatcher, who's helping you, and was a former head coach at Caverna, and we were talking about the 2004 game, I think it was.
Yes.
When Russellville was also in the district with them. John Myers had left Monroe County. That was his first year, I think, as a head coach at Russellville.
It was.
And he was rebuilding the program there and had found some players. I mean, basically, he had scouted the hallway to have enough guys on the team because they had been down. And so that game was, I believe, played at Caverna.
I think it was 20-18 or
13-12.
13-12
was the final score.
Yes.
And I think Dwayne was telling me Caverna had scored. They went for the 2, got the 2, but there was a penalty, and they had to do it again and failed to get it and lost the game 13-12.
Yeah.
And then after that game, none of them were close when they were playing each other. I mean,
Right.
they were pretty lopsided. John ended up building a really good program over there.
did.
I mean, they made some really deep runs in the playoffs. So there was it was kind of like just one of those moments where they were kind of on equal footing. And really, I went to that game. I remember it. I thought Caverna was probably the better team that night, but it may have still been the case at that time because Caverna had not played 11-man football. I think that was their first season back playing 11-man football. They played 8-man for several years. And that's another thing, because last week we were talking about this, you know, the importance of that game, not just having opportunity to beat Russellville, but the opportunity to kind of set a stage going forward in terms, not just this season, but for these players, because you still have a bunch of young guys.
Yeah, we are sophomore heavy.
Yeah.
You know, I think I have 5 seniors and 4 juniors, and the rest of our team is sophomores. I think I have 2 freshmen.
Yeah.
But it's been, you know, it's you know, when we talked before the season, I told the kids we're going to have 2 things. We're going to have discipline, and I've always felt that we would compete for, you know, in the district. I wasn't so sure that we could win it, but I knew that we would be competitive in the district, and that's without knowing. I just knew the caliber of kids that we had.
Yeah. Well, so like you said, you played Ballard Memorial on Friday. They
Yes.
lost to Fulton County. So, I mean, if you win that game, they're going to be the 4th seed and you're going to be the 1 seed.
Right.
And then you finish up with Monroe County, which will be an interesting game because Monroe's had some good games this year and they've had some not good games this year.
And you know, they're big up front, and they're more experienced than us up front. But like everybody that I talk to, I tell them, you know, we've only had 2 games. I'm sorry, Muhlenberg and Hart. We were held to 6 points, and you know, Muhlenberg we didn't have Tyson, and Hart County they were just so much more physical than we were. But we're gonna score.
Yeah.
You know, I don't doubt that we can score against anybody. It's just, you know, you asked me last week, you said the score would be 60-50, and it was close. It was close, and if we had have gotten all of our extra points, we would have scored 60. I think it was 66 or something. But I just, you know, I like our chances this week, and of course I like them next week too.
Yeah. And in the playoffs, you guys are matched up with a district in that first round that is Campbellsville, KCD, Kentucky Country
1 and
Day.
2 in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, and they're playing each other Friday for first and second in that district. And then Louisville Holy Cross and Bethlehem are playing for that 3-4. Right now, Louisville Holy Cross looks like the better team than Bethlehem if you just go back. I mean, they competed well against KCD.
Yeah.
So,
19-16.
yeah, it was a heck of a game.
It's the number 1 team in the state.
Yeah.
And I think their record is like 3-4 or something crazy. But, you know, I went back after we talked, and they played Atherton. They played some 6 and 5A schools. So,
all the teams in that district have played a pretty stiff schedule.
Yep.
Well, whichever way it works out, it'll be good for you guys.
It will be.
You're guaranteed a home game, and that's something Caverna hadn't done in the playoffs in a while.
It is.
All right. We are here on Tell Me About It on Glasgow EPB Channel 6, the local channel, and we'll be right back.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Trevent Hayes here with James Brown, and we are back on Tell Me About It. I mentioned that. I don't think you mentioned that in the opening segment. You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now we're going to discuss the Glasgow Hart County game, and I said it would be a 2 or 3 touchdown game
in Hart's
and
favor.
That's what. Of course, I did. I said in Hart's favor.
I wasn't convinced,
but they won. So my prediction was still 90% right. They won. Right or wrong?
You're like that dude who won the USFL lawsuit against the NFL, and they said, but you got $1, and he said, well, I won.
Well,
okay,
won.
Nice.
They won.
You got $1. You killed the league and got $1. Good for you. Anyway.
I don't like how you jab me and then just you don't let me jab you back. Well, before it's over, I'm jabbing back.
Give all the jabs there, Muhammad Ali.
We're ready.
Just little straight sticks all day long.
You know, I didn't know if I really didn't know if James was really paying attention to my game because he was watching it live streamed on his.
No,
game.
I was listening to it, taking notes.
I'm joking.
Photos.
I'm joking. But you know, I want to tell everybody I really appreciate the support that you've given Caverna, not only this year but over the years.
Yeah.
You know, the administration was actually talking about you on Monday, about how you have, when nobody else comes, you come. And you know, at Caverna, we really appreciate that.
Well, my son will be joining you guys on Friday night when you play Ballard Memorial. I will not be there, but he'll be there.
Okay.
So he'll be back for his second round. I don't remember what the other game was he went to. I think
Edmonson County.
Yeah, that was it, Edmonson County.
Maybe tell your son maybe he'll get a better showing.
Well, I mean, that team does not have that running back from Edmonson County, so there's that.
Yes. So I felt that Hart could run the ball, and they didn't.
No.
They didn't.
That was the thing. See, that was the thing I was trying to tell you, was that I really think Glasgow's defense is that good. The problem Glasgow has had is not their defense. It's finishing off their offensive drives. And that was going to be the question. Coming off that loss to Franklin Simpson, did they get their attention on the offensive side to get them to be more focused in executing the offense? And I think they really did.
And I've talked to a lot of people that said that they really believe that Glasgow is better than Franklin Simpson.
Oh, yeah.
And I know there was a lot of, big plays both ways. Mm-hmm. I did hear, you hear talking to coaches and kids that the Glasgow kids felt that Hart County was the most physical defensive team that they played.
Probably so, yeah.
So let's go to the play. There's not what it was.
There's two parts to this.
Okay.
The one that's the part of it that is heartbreaking for Glasgow, because they got the ball. They needed to go 80 yards. They could kick a field goal and tie the game. They were down 15-12. But if they scored a touchdown with under a minute to go, it was going to be pretty much a lock to win the game, right? Mm-hmm. They did what they needed to do. And that may be the first time all season that they've really done that on offense.
And put a drive together.
Yes.
Okay.
And not just hit a big play, that kind of thing. I mean, they really, against a good football team, right? So they did everything they needed to do to win that game. And then what happens is Glasgow squib kicks. Now, some people like the squib kick. I don't like the squib kick. And the ball just squibbed right into the guy's hands, and he got a return off of it. And that sets Hart up on the positive side of the field for an opportunity to go for a big play and win the game. And that's basically what happens. So Hart has 35 yards to go. Quarterback gives a little pump fake, which, you know, it looked like on the film that some of those guys did freeze. The defensive backs froze on the pump fake, but not the guy who actually was covering the pass.
Gotcha.
And so they threw the deep guy stayed where he was supposed to be. So they threw the ball. I mean, I imagine Hart County throwing the ball is in that situation, is gonna throw it to that receiver every time because he's 6'3".
Connor Trent.
Yeah, he's 6'3". Good athlete.
Now, if you remember, he made 2 huge catches against Glasgow last year.
Right.
Really, really big catches.
Yeah. So the defensive back, he basically the defensive back is about half his size. That's on that outside out there. He basically just cut in front of him and caught the ball. And the way they had run this set, nobody else was around. Now, I don't know if the underneath guy bit on that little pump fake and so was late getting back to him. I couldn't tell necessarily by looking at the film because you really can't. The camera's kind of panning like this. So I don't know if there was somebody else was supposed to be underneath him in that situation, or if they had run somebody to take away the underneath guy. And everybody was just away from the play. I mean, the receiver did what he was supposed to do. And honestly, I thought the defensive back was where he was supposed to be. He just got beat on that play. I mean, good players make big plays.
Right.
And so they get that winning touchdown with 3 seconds to go, Hart does. And so I think if you look at it, is it a devastating loss for Glasgow? It might be. I don't know how we will just see this coming Friday when they go to Butler County and play, which they should beat handily, how they bounce back from that. Because I do think they bounced back effectively from that loss to Franklin Simpson.
Right.
Also, this sets up another thing. When you look at the playoffs across district,
They could meet Hart in the second round.
well, Franklin Hart play this Friday. The winner is the 1 seed, loser's 2 seed, Glasgow's 3, Adair's 4. In the second round of the playoffs, 2 and 3 from this district should play each other again, however it works out. So it could be Glasgow and Hart, could be Glasgow Franklin, depending on what happens between Hart and Franklin on Friday. So this district is just, at least the top 3 teams in this district that Glasgow's in, they're better than maybe every team in that other district. Now, Union County's got that district locked up on the other side. So, we'll see what it looks like. And McLean may be the 2, so Glasgow could be going to McLean in that first round. I'm sorry, I cut you off, though, because you were going to talk about all that, too, that play.
Right.
From, I guess, your perspective, especially as a coach. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I just think that you have to press him off the line.
Yeah.
Because you know where it's going. And then I just don't, you have to have your best athlete over top just in case, your corner gets beat. And I don't think that happened.
Yeah. When I don't know, I mean, the kid who's playing that spot is their most experienced corner, or at least in that situation. So I don't know.
But still, the kid wasn't very big.
No. But that's why I said I don't know if I don't know if they have him if they had a blanket on him and the underneath guy bit on the pump, and that's why there was no underneath help.
And
that could be the case.
You go back and just rewind back to our game.
Yeah.
Remember we got beat long. So Russellville's in a position to where they have to throw it. So we moved Jalen from safety to corner.
Right. And
he had 2 picks.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the things I don't, I never doubt a coach what he does because I'm a coach. And, sometimes other coaches just don't think the way we're thinking. But it was a good game. We're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we'll finish out with Barron and
Warren Central. Yep.
All right.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Trevent Hayes back with James Brown. We're going to close out with Barron and Warren Central.
Yeah.
I know nothing about the game, so I'm going to listen.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know how many times. I think that was the first time Barron had beaten Warren Central since the 80s. Maybe it's early 90s. But, they were in a district together for a long time, and most of the time it was pretty lopsided in Warren Central's favor.
Oh, yeah, because they had Damon Hood, and they had all those guys that...
They were just loaded, and a period from about 93 to probably about 2008, 9, somewhere in that window, and they were one of the best football teams in the state.
They had Cortez Metcalf, who was they were just loaded every year.
Yeah. So basically, the deal was this coming into the game. What Barron struggled against, Warren Central doesn't do. Barron struggles against people who can run it between the tackles. Warren Central doesn't do that. What they don't struggle against is people who try to throw the ball around the yard because they got good defensive backs. So the one thing Warren Central tries to do, that's what Barron stops best. And then on the flip side of that, Tate Spillman had a big night. Barron ran the ball extremely well against them. That's probably the best they've run the ball all year, no matter who they're playing against. Tate Spillman had a big night. Austin Sewell had a big night. I think Cody Kearney had a couple of touchdowns as well. They had a running clock on them by halftime. I mean, that's the most decisive win Barron has had in quite a while. So in terms of just dominating the game from start to finish, JV players got a lot of playing time in the second half. So that was awesome experience for them. What that does, so it guarantees Barron will be at least the 3 seed. Okay, but there's been a turn of events in the last week.
Okay.
I've been told that North Hardin has told some of the teams in the district that they have been cited for using an ineligible player, which would include the game against Barron County that they won. We don't have a final ruling from the KHSA. We'll see, what they decide. So it may come down that nothing changes.
Right.
So Barron's in kind of an interesting position. They host Central Hardin Friday. If they win that game, then they'd have the opportunity to host a playoff game.
Okay.
If the ruling is against North Hardin and they were to win that game,
and they beat Central, then they'll win the district.
That's right.
Gotcha.
And so they're kind of in a position that they could host a first round playoff game, whichever way it works out, which would be great in a lot of ways because. Well, I mean, that's not happened in a while. They're kind of in the same boat you guys are. They've not hosted a whole bunch of home playoff games through the years. But right now, if they were the 3 seed, they're probably going to McCracken County in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, the district they're matched up with, includes McCracken and Henderson and some schools out that way. I mean, that's a bunch of big road trips for them. So it would be good. They're in the driver's seat of their own destiny in terms of what happens in the playoffs. Just with this game with Central Hardin coming Friday. And, I thought Central would be the team to beat in the district this year, and they've just not played as well as I thought they would. So, and Barron's had success against Central Hardin in that district through the years.
Yeah, because they beat them a few times in the last few years.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's they're in a very good position at the moment, no matter what the North Hardin ruling is. I mean, just winning that game puts them in a really good position.
I wonder... I'm excited to see how that turns out.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of people that are really down with some of the decisions that the KHSAA has made in the last 2 months. As far as kids transferring and, going through 5 appeals and then finally deeming a kid eligible.
Well, I understand this is a slightly different situation, such as they actually did not turn in the paperwork on the transfer.
So I don't see how he could.
Yeah, it would. That's what I've been told. Now I don't know. That may be not the case, and it may be that something else occurred. Because the thing about North Hardin that's in a unique situation is they're right there by Fort Knox. And so I'm sure they have a lot of kids that come in and out of their school district with the military transfers and things of that nature.
But you still have to do the proper paperwork.
Yeah, you would think you need to turn it in. If you didn't do the proper paperwork, that's different than, somebody transferring in and then going through the decision-making process of whether or not they're going to be eligible.
Right.
This is the school district dropped the ball and
just let him play.
Yeah, and now you're in a different situation. I've seen that happen before where a team had to forfeit games. The player didn't play in all the games. It's just that nobody took care of the proper paperwork ahead of time and they let them play, and then there you are. Most of the time they get caught pretty quickly when somebody looks down the roster and says, wait a minute, I don't remember dealing with that kid's paperwork.
Yeah.
so that would probably be a lot of meetings after the fact with some people in the school. Anything else about real quick before we get out of here, we talked about the dynamic end to that Hart County Glasgow game. The only game in the state that may have topped it, though, may have been the Bowling Green South Warren game. Because
the hook and ladder.
Yes.
Again, I think Deuce Bailey is one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the state.
Yeah.
But that play was, I love the hook and ladder, and I love the halfback pass. I mean, it was just, hey, when I got home, I watched the highlights, and it was ran perfect. Mm-hmm. So now that sets Bowling Green up to win the district.
Yep.
They'll probably end up playing South Warren again to go to the finals of the state.
Yeah, they've met in that regional final a couple of times. But now, of course, these days that regional final is set by RPI, so you don't know how that's really going to work out.
Right.
But yeah, because they may be 1-3 in 5A in RPI or 1-4, something like that. They're right there at the top, I think.
Yeah. And the RPIs, if we were to play Holy Cross, or we're going to play Holy Cross or Bardstown Bethlehem,
mm-hmm.
and if we were to beat them, then the RPI means that we've got to go to.
Well, not that second round. It's in the third round.
It's in the third round.
Yeah.
So if we were to win, we'd still get to.
You'd get to host another game. It's just
so. I was mistaken. I thought it started in the second round.
No, it starts when they start doing those regional final. Then they start using the RPI. So the regional, the semi-state, and the state doesn't matter, but
right.
The regional and the semi-state are determined by the RPI.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's how that would work out for you. So yeah, if you win that first game, you get to host the second one.
I don't think that's never happened.
Really?
Ever.
Now you would get to play KCD or Campbellsville.
Hey.
Take it, huh?
We'll take it. Yeah.
Barron County probably feels the same way.
Yeah,
they get to play.
We're here for all of it.
Yeah.
We're here for whatever happens, we're here for it.
Yeah, Barron County probably feels the same way. If they got to host that first round game and they could get a win on that one. And look, the bottom side of that other district that they're matched up against, I think it's winnable games for them. The top side, Henderson County, none of the records look great in that district, but when you look at their schedules, they're pretty strong. And so sometimes you can look at a team's record, it doesn't tell you a whole lot. You better check who they've been playing against, who they've been beating and
see
winning.
what they've done.
Yeah. So it'll be good. But hey, we're only a couple of weeks until the playoffs. Can you believe that?
It's hard to believe. It's went by fast.
Yeah.
It's went by faster since we've put together 2 wins back to back. So let me tell you, the first, third game down, it went pretty slow. It was slow.
Winning even cures time travel.
It does. It does.
All right. I'm James Brown. This is Trevent Hayes. We've been here on Tell Me About It this week. Glasgow EPB Channel 6 local channel. You can catch it every Thursday at 6 o'clock on that channel. You can catch it anytime on the Glasgow EPB YouTube channel on 104thescore.com and kysports.tv. We'll be back next week to talk about other things, maybe football as well.